All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And the video I'm bringing you today, this is not naked roleplay. You know, that'll be for a separate video. We are going to cover the not elemental drain. I'm sorry, the vampire stun. We're going to go over accelerating drain. This was changed in the Harrowstorm PTS. I was asked to do this video, wanted to cover it as well, but for those of you guys that don't know, currently in the Dragonhold DLC, Accelerating Drain is very powerful. It does a ton of damage. It also stuns. There are a lot of classes that use this as their stun. It's a form of an offensive stun, and they changed how it's going to proc. So before, you used to be able to animation cancel it, and now it says after you finish... Excuse me. Wow. After you finish draining, the enemy is stunned for 3 seconds. So the question is does the stun count after you cancel out of it, or does it count after the duration? So I took the gear off so that it's more of a challenge for these jackals so I don't kill them right away, because the skill does hit pretty hard. But if we hit them with an accelerating drain, you see after 3 seconds, they take the stun for 3 seconds. If I hit another one and I animation cancel out of it, you see it's before the 3 seconds, they do not get the stun. So this is pretty problematic, in my opinion, for PvP. For a few classes. Now, namely, Magicka Necromancers and Magicka Wardens. Both classes in the past have relied on this stun in order to get off their burst. And I'll try to explain this as well as possible. Both classes have stuns in their toolkits. Magicka Necromancer has the ground-based grave, I think it's grave totem. I think that's what it's called. Whatever. Anyways, you put a totem on the ground, and anybody that walks in that area, it pulsates and it fears every 3 seconds. And so if they walk into that area, they're stunned. However, that's not an offensive fear, that's a defensive-based fear. So if people are piled on top of you, it's going to work very well. However, if you're the one on the offensive and people are trying to get away, you're not going to be able to summon a totem wherever they're going to land. You know, it's not as easy to land that way. And so, although it's a good CC that goes through block, it's more defensive based, and so you have to rely on people jumping on you and beating on you, or jumping into a choke point in order for you to get this ability off. So a lot of Magicka classes have switched from that fear to running the vampire stun, because they could quick animation cancel it and get the stun off, and then they could line up their burst. Now, in my personal opinion, I think that this change is not very good. You know, I do think that this skill is very powerful. I think it does a ton of damage. Obviously, it doesn't look like it does a ton of damage because I am not wearing any gear. But I've had 12k accelerating drain death recaps. Like, it hits hard. You know, it's a channel. It goes through block. On top of that, it also, stuns you immediately on the cast. So it was very problematic to fight outnumbered. But the other issue, too, is if you're a Magicka Warden or a Magicka Necromancer, you no longer have this stun to rely on. You know, you don't get to use this. So what I would like to see happen is, since there's two morphs, the one that does more damage, have it have the 3 second stun at the end. The one that does less damage, have the stun be in the beginning, so that those classes can still utilize the stun, but they don't get to take advantage of the loaded ability of being a stun plus a high damage tick ability. That's just my opinion on it. I think that's the best way to adjust this, because people are going to say go Flame Reach. Why don't you go Flame Reach? Well, if you're a Magicka Warden, or if you're a Magicka Necromancer and you're setting down like your Subterranean Assault, or if you're setting down your Vulnerability ult, do you really want to knock your opponent back out of the range of those things? And the answer is no. You're not going to use that. You'll probably use your defensive-based CCs and hope people just jump on you. And it's just going to slow down combat. It's going to make those classes feel more clunky than they do right now, because most players on those classes were using this accelerating drain stun, which now, 3 seconds after you land it, it's not very good. So that's just my opinion. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts, but in general, taking away this stun from classes really impacts those two classes quite a bit. Now, you could go and you could rework those fears or CCs in order to make them a little bit better. And I wouldn't say that they're bad in group play. It's just they're bad when you're trying to kill the last couple of people and they're running away from you. Like, Like you're trying to kill 1 or 2 people and they're just nonstop retreating. You're never going to be able to go offensive on them. You have to hope that they jump on you. And there's some players and builds and playstyles that aren't jumping on you. Namely healers. They're not trying to take damage from you. They're trying to avoid damage from you, and it's going to make these classes even. It's going to make these classes their killing capabilities a lot more difficult. So that's my thoughts on this. Of course, as always, I wanted to hear your thoughts. Please provide them in the section below. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.